Yeah. Hello Instagram. Hello fake awesome social media. Yeah. Hello guys. How are you? Okay. And live. So let us hold space today and smash out an amazing interview with an amazing person, Tugce, who's on here today. First time making connection by video, so it'll be kind of spontaneous free flow with her. It's going to be exciting, and yeah, hopefully we'll make good connection and get some information and share her journey and her story of inspiration. God knows we can all do with so much inspiration these days, and connection. We can, especially during the maddening times of Corona. It's really crazy what's going on in the world, and it's mad. It's mad. So yeah, I appreciate the connections, and anyone that's going to watch this, I hope you get some value. I no doubt you will from this one. So let me put you on today, and let's roll. A detoxification specialist. A lot of things. I don't want to label people. Fruitarian, Shivambu. We'll talk about. If we get the chance. Hello.
Hi. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, my friend. How are you? Like, yeah, I'm so happy that we did this from last week, and I asked you, it's like, yeah, here we are. It's amazing.
I know it's so nice to be talking to you face to face after like so many years of knowing you.
Right, how weird is that? We knew each other, but then we didn't know each other, and these video things are way different connections to, yeah. So it's
Yeah.
amazing that I finally asked you after all this time. I ask a lot of people, and I didn't get around to asking you. So yeah, it's good that we meet on this medium. So yeah.
Yeah,
So how do you
definitely.
find yourself? You fruitarian, you're Shibambu, urine therapy. That's against the Dr. Moore, so that's an interesting dichotomy there. Maybe we can touch bases with that. Um, I know that I really want to talk about your story, but also the beach and why you love water. I think that's amazing, and I liked your video you did recently on the beach. That was like really short, awesome.
Yeah. Oh my God, so much, such a long journey. I think my journey started around like 6 years ago when I turned first vegan, and I had so many ailments that the white coats had given me, like PCOS, hypothyroidism, insulin resistance. I mean, so much. The list goes on, and I've tried so many things, vegan diet, and then long juice fasts, like 90 days, 60 days, 45 days. Still I juice most of the day, even now. And yeah, and then I found out about Urine therapy. I jumped right into it. I think this was around 4 years ago. I read Armstrong's books and other ones, Your Own Perfect Medicine, Water of Life, and many others. Whatever I could find on the internet, I was
Mine
like,
wasn't out
just,
yet. Mine wasn't out. Mine only came out last year, so I forgive you for not reading my book.
I have yours too.
Oh, whoa! I didn't ask you to pay to do that, guys. I didn't ask that. I didn't pay for it.
No, I don't think I even told you that I got yours. But yeah, I mean, I always knew, like, it definitely clicked with me, and I wanted to do it right away, and I started it, but my progression was very slow. I think because of the dogma. So I started drinking only like one cup a day in the morning, and it was helping me, but my ailments were still not going away, and they hadn't gone away even after the long juice fast. I mean, they were always getting better, but I would jump back, like, once I go back to eating like gourmet vegan foods, or heavy fats and nuts and seeds and everything. So it was a lot of like deprogramming and reprogramming myself. And then I one day, like when I was traveling, we were road tripping in Turkey, where I'm originally
Are you from
from.
Turkey, by the way? Where are you from
Yes,
originally?
I am from Turkey, but I was born in London.
Okay.
Yeah, and lived in Europe for a while, and then moved to United States when I was 25, and I've been here for the last 9 years. So yeah, so I was road tripping, and I was, Turkish food is so good, so I was like eating plenty of that vegan, but still, it's drenched in olive oils and everything, and I was like, this is it. I feel so over, like, bloated and thing. I'm gonna go for a urine fast. And I did it during the road trip for 4 days, not eating anything, maybe just like a couple of fruit juices and stuff. And then I came back here, and by the time I came back, I was like, wow, like my ailments are gone. They're all gone. My skin wasn't breaking out anymore. I had lost weight, and my insulin resistance had gone better. Like I didn't have those cravings, and I was like, wow, so the secret lies in looping this more than just having like a couple of glasses a day, or because I feel like it doesn't work that well. I mean, it for sure helps you while eating and juicing and everything, but the actual benefit came to me when I did a fast on it, when I looped it all day. And I didn't even know about aged urine. I wasn't even like, trying anything with that. And then your book introduced me to that. And also I was always seeing your post on Facebook, and but it's just the smell was always very repelling to me, so I didn't even go there. But then I was like, I have to get this aged orange inside me somehow, even if I can't drink it in the first place. And then I started doing these enemas. I have, yeah, I have, so because I did something called Master Fast in the past, probably
I've heard of it.
you know
It's
that too.
Giorgio, that guy, that Giorgio guy.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, exactly, with him. So it's grape juice, lemon juice fast, along with some powders like psyllium husk and activated charcoal and all of that. And I did that for 90 days. And he was suggesting a Colima board then for the master fast, and I had purchased it. And at the time I was doing it with distilled water or with grape juice, lemon juice mixture, along with distilled water. And this time I was like, after reading your book, I was like, why don't I do the same thing with aged orange, with like, which, and Colima board comes with a bucket that contains like, can get in around 5 gallons of water. 5 gallons. It's
That's
not
a
like
lot.
a
5 gallons. Sorry, 5 gallons.
yeah,
That's 4 liters in a gallon, isn't it? That's 20
it's a
gallons. Wow,
big
that's a
bucket.
lot.
Because that's what
Wow.
Gino was saying, the more water you wash your internals with, the better it is and everything. So I was doing that already with distilled water, grape juice, lemon juice. But then I was like, I can't drink. I mean, not that I can't now, I drink more often, but I couldn't like drink more of this aged orange. So I was like trying to find other ways of getting this in. And I was like, why don't I do this with the Colima board and the Colima bucket? And wow, like the first time I tried it, it was like electrifying. The minute I started getting inside me, I was like, I was getting the goosebumps. I could feel my ears popping up, and it was just so weird. But I knew it was, removing the obstructions and everything. I could feel it working. First, it was like a little bit also burning. It created this burning
Painful, right?
sensation.
But yeah,
Yeah, a
painful,
little
painful.
bit. Yeah.
Mm.
But then it went away after a few times, because I think it was loosening up all the acids and everything. But after a while, I never get it nowadays.
Yeah, you build up
So,
resistance tolerance at the beginning. It's almost like a detox reaction. People go through some even worse than us if they're not into health properly. They'll get shocking bad type symptoms and then blame the medicine, of course, and say it's not working for them. But we know better. We know that that's just a weakness that's being exposed. Mm.
yeah, absolutely. And I coming from Dr. Morris, I already knew about, like detox symptoms and everything. So I was like, okay, this is just the acids loosening up. I'm just gonna, keep doing the same thing. So I kept doing that, and that was like such a big reset for me. Like, even if I would go and eat like a salad, a fruit smoothie, blah blah blah, whatever. But even those things like create some type of obstructions in the body, and the enemas would be like a reset. It would be like going back, and for a few days I would feel like, okay, I don't need much, just looping my own, water and juices here and there. But then like in a few weeks I would feel like I need one again, and I would do it again. It would always like reset me to the 0 point, you know. And then also then reading your book, I was like, I want to do this nasally too, and I started drinking it from my nose. But
Right. Okay. You went hardcore. You've done hardcore stuff.
I know. Um, yeah, and that would like, you know, bring up so much mucus as well. And but then I would feel this like amazing like brightness, you know, like during the day I would feel
The
so
eyes
like
do they get more clearer? You can see the vision improves and colourful.
yeah, absolutely, because it goes to your eye from your nasal too, right? And it, I think, cleans the pineal gland and everything. And then I was like, okay, how can I do this more? And then I had this like neti pot at home, and then I started doing with this, and then my dreams became more vivid. That's what I noticed after doing this. Like I would wake up in the morning and feel like I've like almost lived another life during nighttime. I would remember everything, you
Yeah.
know,
Mm-hmm.
and I would feel like, oh, that was what a night. That was, you know, like as if I had a
I've been feeling that too
second.
recently. Like the levels of like how you know you've had a good sleep is the dream world. When you wake up from it, it feels like a completely different reality, not like a little bit of a different, like completely different reality.
Different.
I mean, it's so different. And when you have a nice sleep, it's amazing and shocking to me. And then of course people say, why does it? Then they say, what's real, awake or asleep? Is awake really real? And then you start questioning things. You go down that rabbit hole. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah, because it's like, I don't know, I mean, still this one seems more real to me, but also I'm thinking like when I'm dreaming I never think about my real life either, you know. So it's weird, but you definitely, I feel like I maybe time travel, or like I feel like my soul goes to other galaxies and travels, and like, you know, I see so many things and I should write them down because I'm sure there's a lot to download from
Yeah,
the
no,
dreams
waste
as
of loads.
well.
One thing I've started to do, I'm not too good at it. I've got a little MP3 player that I bought cheap off Amazon, and it's got a voice recorder in it. So I've actually
Hmm.
voice recorded when I woke up in the morning, some of them, not everything, but just some of the ones that I remembered. And I put on my voice recorder. So now I've
Hmm.
got the memory on the computer, and then I can put that on my YouTube maybe, or just memories for myself of what my dreams were like when I was younger.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good idea. Yeah, I might do that too. Yeah, so you know, experimenting all the time, and you know, and now I'm reading this book, Man's Higher Consciousness. I don't know if
Wow.
you read this book.
Yeah, that's an amazing book. Everyone watching this should buy that book and read that. My God, I need to
Yeah,
reread it. I actually
from
got rid of it.
yeah,
Yeah,
from
it's good.
Hilton, Hotema. Oh my God, I'm
Huge.
just being mind blown with the, you know, value of the ideas in it, and it just makes so much sense, you know, every time I read it, and like look at my experiences in the in the past. I'm like, okay, oh, maybe that's why I couldn't tolerate that food, you know, maybe that's why it wasn't working, and I feel like my as my diet becomes more and more lighter, and I become more immersed with my own waters and everything, it's just like I'm feeling more divine, and like, you know, I'm allowing the universal consciousness flowing through me, and like the more empty I feel, the more it's coming through me, and I feel better in every part of life, you know. I feel like I'm more joyous than I was, you know, when I was in my 20s, or I have more energy
How old are you
to
now?
do
Okay. How old
sports.
are you?
I'm
How old are you
34
now?
now.
Oh, you're old. Okay. We're both old. I'm good friends as well. That's really
Yeah,
old. Of
we're old, but we're getting younger. That's the thing.
course.
That's how
Yeah.
I feel like.
I'm sure people would say to you, I mean, I've seen your videos, I've seen you now, and people would say you don't actually look. I mean, but you must get that a lot. People are, oh, you don't look your age.
Yeah,
You don't look.
I get that a lot. I don't know if it's the vegan diet or everything. Like, it's just, I think, yeah, it's definitely working. And the more I read this book, the more I realize that we were actually breatharians originally, you know, that we learned to eat, just like, you know, someone can start smoking, but it's not meant for you actually. You know, it's you start eating, and then the more you eat, the more you want to eat. It's just the momentum goes like a snowball, you know, and the more you don't eat, the more you don't want to eat, because once you tap into that empty feeling and the joy comes in, it's just like, it's a lot of deprogramming yourself and relearning. And
Yeah.
I feel like I wake up more and more every day. It's a journey,
Quickly, someone's going to buy the book that's watching English Healing, so well done. Yeah, I mean, what I was going to say with the book as well is something fascinating. If you're reading, anyone's interested in it, and if Tugce is you as well, it's like I love the idea of it. Like, we were once breatharianisms, and what happened is a degradation of our species over time. So we went from breath to a devolution to fruits, even, and then the devolution. Sorry, it was liquids, and then fruits, and then we devolved into carnivore as the lower space. But then we just evolved from every single step of food, and we lost consciousness, and it resonates with what I've researched in terms of like what we can do now. I'm not sure if we can do breatharian now. I really do like the idea of it, but I did think I resonate a lot with so much in that book. It's got nuggets at every turn and page. That guy was a genius. I think he wrote it. I don't know when do you know when he wrote it? It was quite a while ago. It's quite an old book.
Yeah, I think 1962. Wait,
All right,
is
that's
that?
not too old. Yeah.
I believe so. I'm not sure. Let me check.
And he's got loads of books. That's his most famous one. I mean, he's a genius. That guy. A
Yeah,
lot
he
happens
has
to
a
him.
lot of different books, and I want to read all of them now. Because, I mean, the idea definitely resonates with me. I don't know if I can do that either. But I mean, the idea, like comprehending that idea that we were originally breatharians, just makes so much sense. And I feel like the more I get closer to it, the more I feel like myself, and the more divinely I feel and godly I feel. Like, and looking at the book, it says like humans originally lived 80,000 to 100,000 years. And when they introduced, water and then fruit, their lifespan came down to 800 and 1,000 years. And then when they introduced, vegetables and grains and cereals and all that stuff, it came down to 100 years. But then it gives so many examples in the book where, like, even during this time, a lady was ill and she couldn't eat for 9 months, and she was around 9 years old. And then during that time where she couldn't eat but just drink a little bit of water, her hair became darker, her ailment went away, and her teeth were growing back again. And like things like this. Wow, like, okay, we don't really need food. We are doing it for entertainment or for stimulation. We are actually solar beings. We are actually getting fed by these cosmic rays, and the body actually knows what to do itself. And it actually doesn't need anything but just this cosmic energy. Understanding that just by itself just opens up so many portals.
Yeah,
Like,
and not least of which, the empowerment that comes from not having to worry about being susceptible to an illness. And it's the empowerment aspect of it. Like, I'm in charge of my own destiny, and I can do all these things. I can drive fast like a breatharianism, if not forever, but certainly for a good week or so, no problem, with no issues. You can do. And also, Hilton Hotema didn't know about, assuming he didn't know about urine therapy, because he doesn't talk about it in any of his books, I think. So he
yeah,
knew
he
about
doesn't.
liquidarianism. Yeah, so no one's perfect. I'm not criticizing him, but if he did know about it, wow, he would have really connected the dots even more with that being probably the highest. When he said liquidator, and if he only knew urine, I wonder, that would have really confirmed, sealed the nail in his status. But who knows?
Yeah, yeah, I think that would be even better. But at one part of the book, he mentions that breatharians didn't have to go to the bathroom, or they didn't even urinate. And then I don't know if it was here or we always talk about bladder being a container, and in that case, I think the urine was being looped by itself in the
Yeah,
body, being a breatharian, because it's like like a bag inside you, and it's like I don't know if breatharians accumulated some type of water, but probably from the air. I don't know, but
much
yeah.
less. Maybe we didn't have much in the bladder. It was just a very small amount for emergencies, and then it grew as we became less breatharian and degraded. Then it became more
Mm-hmm.
like should have become like more medicinal as we went into Shivabu cow per time. It was more used as a medicine as we peed more. But now everyone that knows about it doesn't realize it came from Hilton Hotema. That idea, I think, it came from him. The idea of us needing less in urine. The more we dry fast, the more healthier we get. We urinate less. I love that
Mm-hmm.
idea because another criticism is that people say with people like dry fasting but don't like urine therapy often, and then what they don't realize is what you just said, that when you dry fast for like 14 hours plus, you're doing urine therapy whether you know it or not, and you're
Mm-hmm.
reabsorbing that back in, not all of it, but you're absorbing some of it. So everyone's doing urine therapy. And
Yeah.
a lot of people are. That they criticize it. It's bizarre the world we live in.
Yeah, I agree with that. And also during fast and dry fasting, I mean, it's impossible not to loop it because when you go into ketosis mode, you're digesting the fats, and the outcome of digesting fats is water. So you're constantly actually producing water, but your body is looping it, and that's why you don't urinate as much.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah,
fascinating. So
yeah,
let's
it
touch back a
really
little
is.
bit with the beach. I'd love to talk you to talk about the power of the ocean. I've seen a video of you, which is amazing, where you just like full on having fun at the beach. It was a great little clip. I know you love
Yeah.
the beach and more. Tell us a little bit about why it's so powerful and what it means to you to be at the beach.
So it is so powerful. I mean, it takes up such a big place in my life. It's unbelievable. When I go to the beach, I mean, this is not like having like a Floridian life, like beachy life. It's about like the energy I get from the beach, you know? It's like I get to sun gaze when I'm lying on the sand. I get to connect with water, you know, all the elements of the earth is there for me, like the fire, the sun, the earth, the sand, the water, the ocean, and the air, the fresh air. Like when I go to the beach, I feel like I get connected with all these elements of the earth, and I feel so complete and enough. And then once I go into the water, this like burst of joy comes into me and every time, and I feel it so powerfully. Like even if I'm feeling down that day, or like let's say I had a heavy meal the day before or something, I go into the water and boom, everything starts flowing. Like I feel my stomach, you know, working. It's like, and I feel this burst of joy. It's incredible. And I've been, you know, thinking about that for a long time. And I always thought like, you know, I started thinking about the Epsom salt baths, you know, how you can create that salty water at home for you and it detoxes you. And then I thought, oh, okay, maybe so when I go into the ocean and the ocean water is so salty, and that probably immediately helps me to detox and release all the toxins from my pores. That was one thing. And then I was thinking, okay, so the earth has this 432 hertz of energy, and when we ground, you know, when we step on the grass with bare foot, you get this amazing energy from the ground. But you know, thinking about water, it's like water is more conductive than grass or sand or rock or anything. And plus you're immersing your whole body, not only the sole of your feet, but your whole body in this conductive fluid, and you're getting immersed with this 432 hertz of energy of the whole earth. You're like becoming one with the whole globe earth, you know,
Yeah.
whether it's flat or globe, I don't
You're
know.
right. You're reconfirming what I've been thinking about recently with the beach. It's come in my mind, the ocean. You just said pretty much how I think. Like, it's a massively majorly grounding session. It's a
Mm-hmm.
massive better conductor, so we know this. It's wet, like you said. You've just surrounded. But not only that, it's also the ultimate Faraday cage, and that might be due to the fact it's ultimate grounding too. So you're protected completely from EMFs. I mean, I'm wearing EMF hats
Mm.
now, so I do a lot. We do a lot, and we're surrounded by them all the time. And they affect us so massively. But when we drop in the ocean, we just get that from the ground. We get that protection, that's 360 for our body. Like you said, Faraday cage, whilst you're grounded, that's the ultimate medicine to
Mm-hmm.
me. You also said something interesting about the salt water. I kind of agree. I didn't think of that. It's the detox, isn't it?
Yeah.
Detoxification from the salt water and the pH alkaline. The ocean's alkaline as well. So
Yeah, absolutely. Because like I think the EMFs are a big thing too, but like yeah, also the salt aspect of it. Because I know a lot of people, you know, having like healing reactions to the Epsom salt waters and you know borax and apple cider vinegar baths and everything. And you know, our skin is actually our largest organ, so we detox a lot from it. And the fact that it's denser in the salt water than our body
Mm.
creates an osmosis, I think, where the fluids from our body goes into the water to create a more balanced density as it's
Mm.
in the salt water. I mean, that's my thinking. I haven't read this from anywhere, but um, I feel like that's what's happening. And because we are losing water along with our toxins through our pores, like even our fingers get wrinkled due to the loss of water, right? And yeah, and I think it triggers a big detox, and immediately you feel better. It's like getting an enema almost.
Yeah, well, that's a good one. That's a quote. The ocean is like a giant enema. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So one quickly, I'll share with you a reference experience I had. Well, before I was into physical health, it was 2012. I went to Mauritius. My family's from Mauritius. Anyway, we went on a boat trip, and in the
Mhm.
boat trip, at the during the boat trip, at some point, we're like, okay, you guys can get off and swim if you want. No one did, but I was young. I'm like that. I'm like, okay, I'll just swim, and whilst everyone else stays and talks. So I swam, and I kept jumping off the board in and out. I must have done it about 30, 40 minutes, and then
Mm.
a spontaneous wave of while I was in the water, emotion just hit me like a shot of drugs. And I was like, whoa, I'd never been that happy before. I was on my journey of recovery, but never that happy. I was like, what is this? And I just remember smiling spontaneously. It was the most sincere smile I've ever done in my life. There was no validation seeking. I just could have been by myself in the middle of the ocean. I didn't really care about people. And I was like, wow, I just never forgot it. And when I came out of that, on the ride back, I just felt more manly. I felt like so in my element as a divine masculine. I wasn't even into the things I'm doing now. I wasn't on my purpose yet, but I just never forgot that. And now the reason why I remembered that is because I've always been on a journey, really. And that now I know why I remembered it, because now I can explain it, just what you've explained. Like the ocean is the ultimate healer. And I was doing it for I was an hour into that experience, jumping off in the middle of the ocean,
Mhm.
grounding. It was amazing with the saltwater detox. It was bliss. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's definitely a bliss. I mean, I wish I had the chance to do it all year round. I get to do it only like 4 months a year or whatever, but it's definitely a blessing. And I feel like, talking about salt water, I just compared it in my mind to the times that I went into the lake, you know,
Mm.
or the rivers. I feel like it's not as strong as the ocean, which might be the
Yeah.
effect of the salt water, even though like, rivers and creeks and lakes are also living waters. I feel like there's something special about the oceans and the seas, the open seas.
I hear you. There's another thing too, that I know that cold water therapy is a thing, and it definitely increases your dopamine a lot depending on how cold it is. And guess what? The ocean is often quite freezing, even if it's sunny
Freezing.
outside. So you're
Yeah.
getting a major dopamine, and when you do, I've heard stories about people being in ice water baths and just having spontaneous dopamine rushes. It feels like I think what I had was a dopamine rush. I don't know why I experienced a dopamine rush, so I feel like a lot of it
Uh-huh.
with you too maybe is a dopamine, like extreme amount, not like a little bit. Like an
Yeah.
extreme amount of dopamine coming in your system, overtaking you, and going, "Wow, this is true happiness." There's so much dopamine that we
Yeah.
make.
I never thought about that, but yeah, definitely the cold water, the coldness effect of it is very effective too. Because I mean, actually, I'm not very good with cold. Like I get cold very easily, and I always stay away from cold
Me
showers and
too.
stuff. But my
Really
love of
yeah.
water doesn't stop me from going within into the cold ocean, and I always feel super happy. And probably the coldness, yeah, affects a lot too.
Yeah, there's so many factors going on, but it's beautiful. I like
Yeah.
what you said earlier about not just water. There's a lot of elements going on. Do you want to talk a little bit about what elements and why did you think that? I mean, I didn't read the full post for a reason. I thought I'd ask you on the interview. So what elements are involved in the beach? You said fire, I think. Water
So
and
there are four elements on Earth, right? Fire, water, air, earth. So I feel
mm,
like we find all of this at the beach. We have the water element from the ocean, the fire coming from the sun, the charging factor, and then earthing on the sand and the fresh air. Yeah, we have all of that by the beach. When we go to a mountain for a hike, maybe you don't get all of that, but when you go to the beach, it's like you get immersed with all these elements of the earth, and I feel, I mean, I don't know, I feel so enough, like content and complete when I go to the beach. I feel like I become one with the whole universe, and it's just such a good
yeah,
feeling.
the best expression of yourself, and you're already a powerful person. So it just really amplifies your state to that beautiful bliss that we all seek. And even for
Yeah.
unhealthy people, it helps them too. It really does. But yeah, if your vibration's high and you go to the beach, then you're just going to experience what you just said of like pure magic and yeah, coming home to yourself, finding out who you really are. These experiences are crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. I become so kid-like, you know? Like
Hmm.
I become so joyous and playful. It's like coming back to your origins, you know?
I
Like
even
your
saw it in the video that you made recently. I was like, wow, she's really having fun here. It's like a little kid.
And that day, my gosh,
Yeah,
there was a storm coming, and you probably saw the water. It was so wavy and like, I mean, then we found out that we weren't allowed to swim actually because the lifeguards were, you know, were worried about the safety. So yeah, and it was so gloomy that day. I mean, normally on a gloomy day, if I don't get my sunshine, I become a little bit like down, you know. I become more introverted even like and don't want to go out or whatever. But that day, even though it was super misty, gloomy, dark clouds everywhere, I was like being at the beach that gave me that burst of joy and dopamine or you know whatever it is. It felt so good. Yeah.
yeah. It's absolutely powerful. So
Yeah.
here's your chance. Is there any topic for anything you're learning at the moment, aside from Hotema's stuff, that you find interesting that you want to share with people, and either a bit of your story or even things that you're learning, coming to connecting the dots, anything really, anything
Mm-hmm.
is your passion.
Yeah, so another thing I also see you practicing with the distilled water. You know, I have the same machine at home, and you know, I'm also reading it in this book that you know many people I think don't know about this, and it's such a valid information to share. I think that you know spring water has these you know inorganic materials, and also it talks about it in this book too that when these inorganic materials like get collected in the body, you know, they go into joints and organs and arteries, and it just creates more blockages in the body. And distilled water having the power of like pulling these inorganic materials into itself and then leaving the body with all of those is just so detoxifying and so good for you. And I feel like
Yeah.
Oren is doing the same thing, you know. But even if people are not there yet, you know, they can start with distilled water. And also there
Or
was one more
even
thing.
getting naked in the rain. How about getting naked in the rain? I did
Oh
that once
yeah.
recently. I was
Oh
like,
yeah.
ah, shit, naked in the rain would work. Yeah, it is true.
Wow.
Isn't it? There's a joke in there, but it's actually a truth. Like, it's A, really fun and liberating, but B, I mean, it's actually a distilled water shower, right? Just the
Yeah,
rainwater
yeah,
being getting that hit on you.
definitely. That's a good idea. I've been wanting to like you know, have this distillation machine at home for all the waters coming out of all the faucets. You know, that's my dream, but I don't know if it's possible because I always feel like, you know, I'm harming my body when I take a shower with the city water. Although I have the shower filter and everything, it's just, you know, still couldn't find the best solution for that. But, you know, taking a shower in the rain or taking a shower with distilled waters would be the ultimate goal, or rubbing with aged
Definitely.
urine.
I just asked us, rainwater is distilled water. I mean, to me it is. This was your understanding too, Gay. To me it is definitely. Do you believe the same thing?
What is
Rainwater is
distilled water? Rainwater?
rainwater.
Oh, yeah,
Is it distilled?
absolutely. Yeah, 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 absolutely. I mean, if the air is clean. Because,
Right.
you know, in the
Yeah.
cities, we get so bombarded with chemtrails and fumes and gases. You know, sometimes even the rainwater is not that clean. But if you're living a little bit outside the city and, you know, in a cleaner area, for sure. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I even think that, okay, I understand what you're saying is true, but I think that's still better than tap water, like a million degrees. I'll take the
Oh,
rainwater from a city that's got chemtrails in it. It's got some crap in it, but it's got much less crap in it, and it's still kind of got a distilling effect than
yeah.
like any kind of other water that people, even bottled spring water that people buy in the shops is absolute garbage to me. So yeah, I'm so glad you touched bases, by the way, with the distilled water. I'm very much in the community. I came into Facebook and found the world of urine therapy and distilled, and it's so amazing, and it's also cheaper than like say buying a Kanga machine, which I do think was good too. I'm not judgmenting other people, but I just like
Hmm.
that it's not expensive for us to buy these distilled water machines, and they last forever if you buy the right ones. And yeah, it's so powerful, like you said, to detoxify the body, and it's powerful for us. So guess what? It's also powerful for your friends and family that aren't in particularly into health. If you can get them on these kind of waters for a machine, then you just kind of really will, like you just said, actually, you said it unclogs the crap from the body, the arthritic pains, the with uric acid,
Hmm.
whatever crap. We've got heavy metals, parasites even given time. If you fast on it, I guess it will be parasites too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you look at you probably experienced this before, like when you distill the tap water within the distiller machine, the leftover is such a junk, like gooey, disgusting
Yeah,
material. And we all know that there's so much, chlorine, fluoride, heavy metals, pharmaceutical residues, and viruses, and probably parasites too. So yeah, it's definitely like rainwater, collecting rainwater is way, way, way better than tap water. And,
yeah,
I also have, I know people who, collect, do like make distilled water from the machine and then wash themselves with like a bowl or something,
that's so
yeah.
cool. I haven't gone to that. I mean, my brother Lee's telling me about. I'm way behind. I only got it recently. My distilled water. I've always been urine therapy, so I'm washing it, my beard and my face, and I'm finding it really does give a nice shine to the hair. That the urine therapy gives the matte look, and the shine comes
Mm.
from distilled water. So I'm loving my experiments with distilled. I find it fascinating. But pure water, it's got nothing in it, so of course it's going to pull and become like a magnet and really clean up the body. So one thing I was going to ask you is, people say that it's a good for detoxification. Some people agree with that, but they'll disagree and say it's not good to drink it forever. I mean, even Andres Moritz, some health people that are powerful say that. So why is that wrong? And if it is wrong, why do you believe that it's okay to drink it forever, like not just for a small amount of time?
You mean distilled water?
Yeah, we can still work on
Yeah.
machine.
I mean, to be honest, I've never experienced with it, like drinking for a long time, only distilled water. But I don't know. I mean, the one I think wrong thing that I hear from people is that it also leaches the body from organic minerals, and that I don't believe in because the charge is totally different. And I mean, they're like the same charge, so there's no way that it can take away the organic minerals from your body. So the only way it can take away minerals is if it's inorganic, which the charge is different. So I think it just does only good to you. I mean, I can't think of a damage that it would do because I mean, Orin is also distilled water, and the benefits are obvious. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've never experienced it like distilled water fasting for a long time, where I could speak of an experience where like it's uh, did this to me or that did that, but yeah, I can't think of any.
No, that's it. Have you just said you've done urine fasting for a long time? Did I hear that early at the beginning? You done
Yeah.
urine fasting for a while?
Well, my maximum is 4 days, but I do a lot of like daily loops and so on. And yes, every time I do another fast, I get another benefit. Like I feel like it's endless, The first time that I did the 4-day Oran fast, I was like, okay, I guess like I got healed, I was like, okay, I guess this is it. And then I kept doing it, and every time I would like, oh, that is gone. Oh, like this is gone. Like the benefits would just keep coming and coming after another. So I feel like it's an endless journey. It's definitely, and there's so much. There's, I mean, knowing from myself, like I've seen an iridologist many years ago, and you can probably see, I mean, here they look very dark, but in the sun, my eyes look a little bit hazelish, and you can see the green spots. And the iridologist told me, actually, you have blue eyes. Everyone comes with either blue eyes or brown eyes. But if you have any little parts of greens or blues in your eye, that actually means you have a blue eye. And that means that I actually still have a long way to go because my eyes are not still blue.
Huh.
So, thinking that, I was on this Mediterranean diet coming from Turkey that was laid with, dairy, yogurts, and eggs, and all types of milks and cheeses, and having had all types of, food from fish to beef and everything. I mean, and I've been doing this lifestyle only for the last 6 years of my life. It shows me that I still have a more way to
Right.
go. And yeah, so, but
That brings up a really important point. Like the fact that a lot of people get in the idea at the beginning of this journey that it's going to fit, they want a quick fix, and it's a mentality that we've been brought up with the Matrix. Quick fix, quick fix. I can drink urine for a day, one urine fast, 30 days, and I'm fixed and cured. It's actually a lifetime of. It's not. It goes deep, doesn't it? Today, it's not even just us. It's our ancestors and a lifetime of degradation from our parents, grandparents, and all kinds of traumas that are passed over. So if we want to fix like it takes a long time. Like you said, it's not like a quick fix. It's a journey. That's what makes exciting in duality. If you fixed yourself, would you even be that excited? Once you've
Yeah.
reached the peak of the goal, like you know that goal you've been chasing for years and years and years. Like once you get there, like you know, you're like, what's
You feel
next?
like, yeah, what's next? Yeah. It's definitely not the destination and the journey, that's for sure. I'm really enjoying the journey, like exploring something different every day, experimenting and feeling more and more joyous every day. That's the gift of it. So, yeah, doesn't matter how long it takes. I mean, it's definitely the journey, that's for sure.
Yeah. And as we know from Hilton Hotema, we are going to look, everyone watching this is going to live quite a long time, longer than you guys, anyone in the mainstream ever thinks possible. So I'm going for, here's another thing. I love people saying when they say, oh, I'm going to live to 200. I love that. Like, even if you don't, who cares? I mean, like, even if you put that mindset in, you're going to live to 200, because we know it's possible. I believe, like you do, Hilton Hotema, people are living, I mean, in that book, he says about people living to 180, 200, 220, and it was documented.
Mm-hmm.
The oldest man was like, was he Chinese? Lived at 257 officially. That's officially, unofficially, way longer. I would have thought. But yeah,
Yeah.
there was a guy in the 1600s that lived for like Thomas Paris, and lived for 400, 500 years. So yeah, why not? Why can't we live for a much longer time here than whatever they tell us? What 70, 80, and then we kick the bucket.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. And it's all about like how cleaner you get. You know, there's this saying, cleanliness is next to godliness. It's so true. Like the more you clean you become, the more your vessel becomes cleaner. You can transmute that cosmic energy, universal energy more, and you become more godly, more divinely, more your true self, which I believe our true self is love and joy. It's not, these lower frequencies. So and it talks about how, like the cleaner you get, the less need you have for eating or drinking. And it's so true, because I felt that during my 90-day juice fast, I was able to do like a 3-day dry fast, and I felt like I didn't need anything anymore. And but it was heavy, because at the end of 3 days of dry fasting, I remember so many fears of mine coming to the surface, because I know that with every bite we put in our body, we store an emotion, and the more they dissolve, the more emotions come to the surface. And during the dry fast, I felt that so much, and it was hard to face them. uh, I mean, I faced them, and I kind of like observed them and let them go. I mean, first embraced them and felt them, and then let them go, which was good. And it was very healing. But it's hard to, it's a little bit challenging, at least, to break up that solid obstructions that we have in ourselves. It's a journey. It's definitely a journey. But the more you dig deeper, I think the easier it becomes. So it's
Yeah,
it's
it's
uh
an amazing journey. It really
yeah.
is. Fasting, all types of fasting we've got. I mean, I think we're living in, correct me if I'm wrong, don't agree this. I feel like we're living in an age where people are changing. Like I can see it around me myself. I've transformed this year. I migrate, and I can see around the people I'm connecting, like yourself, and so many others here probably watching too. I don't even know all you guys' story. I'd love to know your stories, but you're all transforming and all becoming the best version of yourself. Particularly this year, technologies are exploding too, which are not a lot of people in the Instagram, Facebook world talk about and know about, because and this was me too, including myself. I was so obsessed with free stuff, but now I'm finding out there's technologies that humans have created are so powerful that because for any problem that we created in the evil matrix, whatever you want to call it, there's solutions that amazing humans have talked about. So now I'm transforming myself to, I'll always love the free stuff, but I know there's technologies that cost money, yeah, but I want to become
Mhm.
financially abundant so I can use these technologies, then give them to people. And because not everyone wants to drink urine, not everyone even wants to do distilled water, not everyone does. So, but they might pay for something that, like a little patch or a machine that might transform their life. But the point of me saying this,
Mhm.
I'm really super excited about what's to come. I know that there's a massive awakening happening, and we're on the verge of something brilliant right now. And everyone watching this, I know crazy things are happening. Like if I don't know you personally, super synchronicities are going off,
Mhm.
divinities playing out. You know, it's weird because it's in a time when on the surface it looks like everything's going to shit. But then we know that when everything goes to shit, that's not true. That's almost like what woke us up. When it went to
Mm-hmm.
shit for us, that changed us. And when the world goes to shit for everyone, because there's no choice, then everybody wakes up. I mean, it might take time, but that's generally what happens. If the world goes to shit, like, everyone's going to wake up. Like, that's not a bad thing. Create new
Yeah.
paradigms.
I think, yeah, I definitely agree with you. Even this, pandemic, like, awoken so many people up, including myself, about so many things that I didn't know, I wasn't aware. I always thought, like, everyone is like myself, like, good intentioned people, but no, there is a war out there between evil and good, and there's, so much to know and so much to awaken to. But yeah, I think the more we keep the fear out of our lives and be in love vibration, the more we can, welcome all these beautiful things that are being, that are coming on our way, such as like the synchronicities. Everybody's waking up to the idea that, we are actually, our freedom is realizing how, like, enough we are, how we actually don't need much, and it's about realizing that we already have what we need within us, and whether energy wise, whether it's, our waters, our medicine, it's just coming to this realization, I think. And even though, I have a lot of friends who know about this, but they don't want to try it, and I totally understand. And I was there at some point in my life where, I read about it, but I didn't want to try it at first, or I tried it very slow with like 1 cup of glass and so on. I mean, it's totally, like, okay, because we've been so indoctrinated with the idea that it's a waste, it's, filthy or whatever. It's just, I think it's gonna take a while, but the fact that is, even though they don't want to try it, I feel like they resonate with it. Because, we always say, we like, the body has two surfaces, right? The frontal and the back. Like, from the front side of your body, only the clean stuff comes, whether it's your the mother's milk, or,
Right.
the
Yeah.
semen, or the
Vagina
urine.
fluid, vagina fluids, even health, everything.
Yeah, exactly. And, why would, like, a water come through a
Power.
channel where the life comes through, where semen
Did
is
you know
coming
that
through,
the
right?
Taoists, the Taoists have got, the Taoists, they've got the microcosmic orbit, right? It goes through the
Mm-hmm.
front and the back of the body. So the front side of the body in the Taoism is called the conception channel. Conception
Mm.
channel. That's interesting to me, because that's the place of conception and birth. So why would the waste come out of the conception channel? It's almost like Taoists seem to know the front of the side of the body is just what you said. It's the
Yeah.
medicinal side, and the back side. Not that it's bad, because I don't even think poo is bad, because obviously that goes to feeding the earth, and it's a cycle itself, and that goes to, that's a good. It's not bad to me either, but yes, there's a difference. Definitely, I agree with you, between the front side, which is the medicinal. Here's the
Mm-hmm.
thing, though. I do understand when people criticize and say it's got a bit of drugs in the urine. I get that, because I do feel like the drugs. I know that the drugs do come
Mm-hmm.
out in the urine, but I think it's a backup channel. It was never meant to be the primary channel of detoxification of heavy metals. Say, so when you go on a heavy metal detox and you
Mm-hmm.
whatever these things, you will pull out some in the urine, but it was never meant to be that way. It was only a backup. And because we're just degraded, going back to what Hotema says, we've degraded so much. Now, unfortunately, people are using the backup channel of the urine, dumping too much in there, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that does, even though what I'm saying is contradictory, because I actually think that you should drink urine anyway, even if you do dump out stuff, bad stuff like drugs in it, you can still get healthier. There's more medicine in it than bad stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I just want to say that.
Yeah, I know that too, but I know that it's in such trace amounts that when it's introduced back into the body, it almost works as a homeopathic pill. That's what I
Right.
feel like, because in the homeopathic, it's like a vaccine almost. Like, you give a little bit of the poison so that the body can build its immunity for it. So even if there's like trace amounts of that waste or unwanted materials in the urine, I feel like when it's introduced back into the body, it almost works as a vaccine.
Yeah. I agree with that
Like,
too. That's
yeah.
I don't want to go deeper because, as you know about aged urine too, it actually purifies itself. So anyone watching this is worried about like serious amount of toxins in their fresh urine, then that argument is completely nullified by sitting it in a bottle and letting it age, and then it
Hmm.
literally does purify itself because the shabambu is always working for you, and therefore anything bad in it, I don't know why exactly. I've got my own theories. Everyone's got their own theory why, but it does purify itself. It becomes more alkaline. Literally, maybe the stem cells just replace the bad stuff, and all of a sudden that
Hmm.
the drugs literally disappear. Like literally, from the fresh urine, the drugs will disappear within a week
Disappear.
from it. It's insane, and we're going
Wow.
to prove it in the future. We're going to prove it by science if scientists allow us to do this. I'm well up for like maybe I don't know. There's so many missions there. One of them is I'd love to scientifically prove like, hey, it's easy to do. Drugs in the urine. Check the analysis. 2 weeks later, same urine. See if there's any drugs in there. I know there's going to be none because I've done the
Mm.
experiment with drugs, and I know that. And that's crazy to think about. It's not an accident too. I think the aged urine was a medicine that was designed for us. I mean, the fresh urine definitely, but that gets more powerful at age is probably part of the creation aspect where God's done or creation, which is us, has created this
Hmm.
backup medicine to be powerful.
Yeah, that makes so much sense because it also builds up more ammonia, right? Which kills the bacteria and everything. So it definitely has that power of cleansing itself.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
I
excited.
have a
I'm right.
question for you. I got
Okay.
asked this question the other day by a friend of mine. You know, I was talking about how, like we said, all the fluids that come from our frontal body is clean, like the breast milk or, you know, all the others. But then I was thinking, like, why can't we keep the breast milk outside the fridge for a while, like out in the room
Hmm.
temperature to give it
Yeah.
back to the baby, but it needs to be fridged for it still to be good. You know, do you have
Hmm.
any idea about it? Because I'm thinking, then why can't we like age the breast milk so that it becomes better for the baby maybe? But it goes bad, right? Or does it? I don't know
Well,
if anyone really
so
experienced with it.
I've just shared my opinion because I've heard a few stories. I know somebody. She's not on Facebook anymore now, but she's. Do you know Patchy Pachucci? I wonder if you know Patchy Pachucci on Facebook. Do you know
Patchy?
her? No.
Maybe. I'm not sure.
She's a powerful lady. I think she's gone off for a bit. She goes on breaks, but
Uh-huh.
I mean, I loved her post and resonated with her stuff for a long time. She's got into urine therapy thanks to us. And yeah,
Uh-huh.
anyway, she used to, and she probably still does. She with her babies, she'll collect the breast milk and she'd let it age. And then she
Uh-huh.
brought me into the actually there's people out there that believe, and I think this is true, resonates with me. Aged breast milk is more powerful than normal breast milk, so they put it in the fridge.
Oh,
I think I'm
okay.
not sure though, Touche, if they put it outside the fridge to
Uh-huh.
age, or they put. I know they definitely put it in the fridge to age. The question is, I don't know if it can age, but I do know it's more powerful. This is insane to me. I'm sure it's not going to
Uh-huh.
taste nice to the baby, but taste wise, just like aged urine is not nice to taste. But
Uh-huh.
yeah, I know it's more powerful. It's a thing where people are
Wow.
buying other people's breast milk aged on the internet and selling it for a lot of money. So it's a legit powerful
That
thing.
Yeah, that makes so much sense to me because I was like, if aged orange is more powerful than fresh orange, then why not we can do the same things with the other fluids of the body? You know, it just makes so much sense. And I thought that it goes bad when it's outside the fridge, but now that you're saying it's even more stronger, it just definitely makes
Well, I don't
sense.
know. Yeah, it makes sense to me that it could still age by itself outside the fridge. Although here's another thing that's interesting. I found out with aged urine. So actually, I used to criticize people a little bit because you know a lot of people come from Dr. Morse against urine therapy, and not only that,
Hmm.
the company idea they need to refrigerate the urine for because I think Dr. Morse talks about analyzing the urine, not for
Yeah.
drinking it, but for the fridge.
Hmm.
So a lot of people used to go, oh, Harry, to age the urine, do I need to put it in the fridge? And I was like, no, don't do that. Here's the thing. It actually ages the urine faster if you put it in the cold in the fridge. Yes, there's EMFs in it, but it does actually faster because of the freezing effect. When you cool aged urine down and cold it, it kind of goes faster according to the four phase of water. Because that's the main reason I believe. I think I figured why aged urine is so powerful. It becomes uber superstructured water, Jared Pollux. And
Hmm.
one way is because it's a state between liquid and solid, like the solid iceberg. Think of that,
Hmm.
and the liquid. It's not. It's in between. It's microcrystalline.
Yes,
So when we
crystals,
freeze it,
right? Hmm.
yeah. So when we freeze aged urine, it basically ages the process. Because I'm obsessed with. We're all obsessed with how to age it quicker, right? All these tensor rings, put it in the
Yeah.
sunlight. Also, it's a paradox, the yin and yang. So you can heat it up in the sun too, with
Uh-huh.
natural heat. And it can also age quicker. But yeah, one of them is definitely put it in a fridge. Breast milk, put it in the fridge. Put in, and that'd be powerful. Put your urine in the fridge, cool it down, or an ice bucket maybe. If you don't do it in the fridge, no
Uh-huh.
EMS.
Yeah, it's incredible. You see, like we learn something new every day. I always thought the heat ages it much faster, but I've never experimented fridging it. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna try that too.
Yeah, there's so many things to try out, and this is why I love
I
connecting with people.
know. So much, so much. It's like every day we learn something new, and I feel like the information is out there. The more we become open to it, the more we tap into it. So it's coming for sure.
It is. I love it. I'm going to write another book, my third one next year. I think I'm going to keep, it's my best-selling book, so I just keep talking about Asia, and no one's wrote a book yet. I'm hoping in my heart that people are going to start stepping up, and it's going to be loads. There will be in the future loads. For the meantime, I'll just keep writing books on them because I know there's a market outside of Facebook. Here's the thing. Everyone, we know that, and people on Instagram know about it, but there's a whole world of people doing it outside of us that don't. I know this, and that's crazy. So
Hmm.
we're doing all this for a lot of people that we don't even know about, and we're literally going through an awakening with urine too. It's gonna blow up like the fresh age urine. Like, oh man, in the next 100 years, and we will live that long, it's gonna be way bigger. And people will be
Yeah.
apologizing to us. People will be apologizing to us. Literally, not like
Yeah.
care. They'll be apologizing and saying, "Well, I'm so sorry. You had to go through this place where everyone thought you were crazy," and like, like,
Yeah, I feel the same. I feel the same. And thank you for taking the step to write about the age urine because I mean, having read all the books out there, none of them were saying age it, They were actually saying don't drink the aged one, They were saying the opposite. So it was a definitely new idea, but it's definitely changed my life too. And thank you for taking the first step to.
it wasn't new to us in the Facebook community, but it was new to a lot of people, and it was badly needed. And people talked about it a little bit in books, but never focused on it completely. So yeah, I just gave it my style, and it was, as you know,
Hmm.
it's just very upfront, and like there's no beating around the bush. It's a tiny book, like 34 pages, but it's just like I don't really mess about with the words. I'm not really telling you my life story. I'm just telling you what to do with it. Put up your bum, put up your nose, rub it on your skin. Dirty
Yeah,
stuff. People think this really will trigger a lot of people. And look,
yeah,
not everyone's down with it. My parents know I wrote that book, and they're obviously not very proud of it. So we all have to deal with like people rejecting us, and
yeah,
when we do stuff. But the right thing is always done. We always do the right thing, but because
yeah.
it speaks to our heart, and we can't shut up about it, even if we lose friends and family over it. So we got to do
Yeah.
the right thing.
Yeah, I went through the same phase, but I'm like, no fear, only love. We are doing this out of love, so that thinking like maybe it can help one person who is listening to us right now. So, if one resonates with it and has the courage to try it, then they will see themselves that it's working. And I think Monica told about this test where even if you put like a fruit juice on your skin, you know how sticky and gooey it leaves your skin, right? It will get like very sticky. But when you put
Yeah,
an aged urine, it makes the skin so much silkier and cleaner. Like you can see the pores getting cleaner. It's just, you don't even have to drink it to know it. You can just apply it on your skin and you know the difference.
and even distilled water from a machine does that to some extent. It makes your skin so smooth and good
Mm-hmm.
looking. People only know from their own experience. People watching this too, you only know from your own experiences. You have to be open minded to try something, and then you have your experiences, and it goes against everything you've ever been told in the brainwashing. And like you said earlier, oh man, the brainwashing runs so deep. It takes a long time. Look, man, I'm still on the journey. I'm still unlearning. I mean, I've done a lot of unlearning, but it's not been like in a day or a year. It's taken years of
Yeah.
on Facebook, like literally newsfeed. Oh, someone's so like first of all, it was like urine therapy, and I was like, oh, age urine, didn't even know about that. Then it was like Breatharianism. A few months later, I didn't know about that. Then someone said fasting with water, and I was like, whoa. Then someone said a few months later, dry fasting. I was like, whoa. And then someone said, oh, semen retention. And then someone said, oh, your hair. So when you grow your hair a bit long, it gives you extra power. Like, it's literally
Uh-huh.
been like a journey where I've had to assimilate all these shocking things that are the complete opposite of what they tell me. Oh, the sun
Yeah.
too. How can you look at the sun? Look at the sun, makes you blind, gives you cancer. And it's like, no, let the sun get it. Oh, there's another one. Then people are like, oh, don't only sun gaze at sunrise, sunset. And then actually heard of people on Facebook, it's fine to do midday sun gazing, really powerful. So even within our communities, there's little dogmas of people saying you only have to sun gaze at a certain time. You only do fresh urine, you don't do aged urine. You definitely don't drink aged urine. You put in your skin only. To break through so many barriers, even within our own communities. And where we stand now today is the place of truth, of our own experiences. And now I'm doing the brainwashing, and a place of, I might not know everything, but I know now the core fundamentals of what's powerful for my vibration, as do you, and as the most of the people watching now. If you don't, then you're in the right place. You're watching us talk about crazy shit like midday sun gazing, aged urine up the bum, up the nose. It's madness.
Yeah, it is madness. I always thought the same, that it would hurt like my eyes if I do sun gazing in the midday. Now I do it every day, and my vision gets better and better. It's a proof. Proof is in the pudding.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's not
definitely.
an accident that they tell us that that is going to make us blind, because just like the urine, because there's deliberate policy, because that would just make you so healthy if you did look at the sun at any time, and they don't want that. So that's on them, and it's our job to. Oh, we've got 28 seconds, so do you want to say one last piece? Where can people find you quickly? Yeah, I didn't know it was 28
They can
quickly.
find me at Tugce. They probably see my name on here, or also Pure Love and Light, which I share, where I share my, juices and other things. And I'm also on Facebook. They can find me there. So yeah, thanks for having me, Harry. This was